Welcome everybody to another episode of What's NXT for January 23rd, 2019. I'm of course your host, the Rated R reviewer Stefan Osborne, joined as always by the General Jerry Slaughter.
Good evening, wrestling fans.
Tonight we had a really great episode of NXT, but before we get into that, we've got a lot of NXT team stuff coming up. We've got like 4 or 5 shows in just this weekend, and so that's a lot, and I know it's a lot, and you guys are probably going to be fucking sick to death of us, but I'd be remiss if I didn't put it out there. So after we do this show of What's NXT, we've got NXT TakeOver Phoenix preview and predictions, and we've got Cindy, we've got Noah, we've got James Hebert, we've got Owen Finch. So it's going to be another 6-person panel, and that's going to be awesome. And after that, tomorrow we'll have the NXT party with Chris Mace. I'm reviewing episode 27 of NXT UK. And then we're going to have our, I believe me and Jerry, possibly 1 or 2 others, we'll see. We can always put them up here, so we'll see. But we're going to do our Royal Rumble predictions, our video for that. And no idea when that'll be out. And then we've got the NXT TakeOver Phoenix review. We're going to be doing that right after the show airs on Saturday. And we are actually going to have, by himself, the West Coast professor, Jeff Meacham, up on the big screen. So that is going to be awesome.
Yes,
I am
it will
stoked for that. However, tonight we are here to review NXT, and going into this show, I know in the No DQ NXT group chat, they were very high on this show. They praised it a lot. They said one of the best shows they've seen in a while. I don't know, man.
It definitely built up hype for the pay-per, or I guess you can call it pay-per-view. It's not really a pay-per-view.
It did that.
It built the hype like it's supposed to, and we actually got, I'm going to say we got 3 solid matches out of it, but there's been episodes I think that have been a little bit better, but for this one, we got a couple surprises, so it actually worked out very, very well.
Well, you know me, and if you've been watching this show, you know me too. My favorite kind of hour-long NXT episode has got 4 matches. Thank you, Jerry. And this was one shy of that, so immediately I'm a little bit turned off. They had time. They had space. They could have totally had a 4th match in there, just a quick squash match. Because none of these 3 matches were a quick squash match.
No, they weren't.
So they had time for that. Help somebody along. Put somebody over. Something. Give somebody some momentum. Build somebody up. Another match, please. Just my little nitpicky. Personally speaking, we did get like 2 different promos. One of which led to a match.
Yeah.
And that starts off the show. We've got Velveteen Dream, as promised. He's going to be here live. He heads out to the ring. And says some Velveteen Dream-like stuff. Like, he's just... Basically, he's kind of projected that he's going to be trying to get maybe onto the main roster, possibly into the Royal Rumble. But in this case, it looks like he's trying to go after the North American Championship.
And that brings out, of all people, we didn't really even expect to see him on the show, Adam Cole and Bobby Fish from the Undisputed Era.
Yep, just the 2 of them. We did not have Roderick Strong. We did not have Kyle O'Reilly. Apparently, they're doing stuff with the titles.
They're
I mean, we know they're defending at NXT TakeOver Phoenix, but like, where are they at?
Oh, they're probably pretty much just training for that match.
When they're doing stuff, promos or matches or whatever, just like, I think the last match they had, it was just the 2 of them. But still, when like they're out there doing promos about the titles and whatnot, like, it's all 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're always backed up when it's them 2. But here we have Adam Cole and Bobby Fish just coming out by themselves. But they don't really need more than that.
No.
It's just a Velveteen Dream. Like, 2-on-1 is a pretty good odds.
Yeah, and you got Adam Cole pretty much saying that Velveteen Dream isn't really qualified for the title shot, and Adam Cole is actually more entitled to it than anything. And actually, Bobby Fish has to back him up with this whole statement, even though Bobby's supposed to wants gold at this point as well.
Well, I think Cole won the title, and then he lost it, and then he lost his rematch, and so he goes back into the shuffle with everybody else. I think of the 3 of them, probably Bobby Fish probably deserves it more than Velveteen Dream. But we'll see if that's the case by the end of the night.
Yeah.
Because this is actually going to lead into a match. Spoiler alert, we're going to get Velveteen Dream versus Bobby Fish tonight. And Another spoiler alert, pretty damn good match.
Yeah.
So up next we had a video package. Back to the video packages, but we have 3 very specific ones in this show. We're going to have this one that builds up Shayna Baszler versus Bianca Belair for the NXT Women's Championship. And surprise, surprise, great fucking video package.
Oh yeah, this pretty much covered like Baszler's rise to fame and Bianca's. They even went back all the way back to high school, like her some decathlon type videos that she was in, like from back then. They went very, very far back with this one.
Well, they've used some of that footage for previous video packages for Bianca Belair, but yeah, she was like All-American or some shit. Like, she was really good at sports and did a lot of sports. And so she's got a lot of videos of her doing awesome shit. And they like to put them in these video packages. I wouldn't be surprised if it was even just new home footage.
Yeah.
But that's what that was, and we're going to get 2 more. We're going to get one for the NXT Tag Team Championship match. No, wait, we didn't, did we?
We didn't get that one, no. We got one for Ciampa, and we also got one for...
I knew something was missing.
Yeah.
Maybe I fast-forwarded through it.
No, it never came.
Inconsistencies, man.
Yeah.
By me, mostly. I'm not paying attention to the fact that we didn't actually get that video package. Awesome. So up next, we've got a recap of Cassius Ohno and Keith Lee last week. Essentially,
just showing the end of the match where Keith Lee ended up getting a low blow put on him, and Matt Riddle coming out after the match to take exception to it, and nothing really came of it.
This is all just building up to the, I guess, announcement, or at least television announcement of the match that we're going to get. But finally, our 5th match for NXT TakeOver Phoenix. We're going to get, again, well, hopefully it'll be better than the 7-second knockout.
It'll be better than the 7-second knockout. The second match they had was actually pretty good, but this is about as... This isn't really even a white-hot feud in any way, shape, or form. This could melt a marshmallow.
There's a lot of different matches that we could get for the 5th match that could be a lot worse than this. I'm hoping, you know what, based off of, remember the 10-11 minute match that we saw Cassius Ohno in with Keith Lee?
Yeah.
Where he looked like he could go for a good match?
Yeah.
Let's give him the opportunity.
But I'm in that frame of mind that, like, pretty much the 2 more or less dark matches, I guess, that are going to get announced later. Either one of those, I think, would have been better on the card than another Riddle-Ohno match.
I've seen a lot of NXT takeovers. I haven't seen one bad match yet.
That's very true, too.
So I'm willing to bet this match is going to exceed your expectations. It might actually meet mine, but I bet it'll exceed yours. So up next, speaking of matches, we get our first match of the night. Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch versus Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel. Mm-hmm. And of course, Jerry here and I are immediately drawn to this match because...
Eichner Bartel!
Yeah, damn. Love these guys. So, there's a lot of notes that I have from this match. Let me get your recap of it before...
Well, pretty much is exactly what I expected out of the 2. Pretty much a whole bunch of technical and wear down holds out Burch and Lorcan, but then you have like the power and just tag team maneuvers out of Eichner and Bartel that was just magical. We're just going to say it, magical.
Like, up until the end, all of my notes are Eichner and Bartel doing shit. Like, just, these guys are like spot crazy when it comes to doing tag team stuff.
They don't hold back in any way, shape, or form.
Just amazing. Okay, so we get another one of these spots where Bartel throws the guy off of the top rope, like he's sitting on the top corner.
Yeah.
On the turnbuckle.
Just javelins him.
Javelins him into Eichner, who catches him for a brainbuster. In this case, he caught him very low.
And deadlifts him up.
Held him. And deadlifts him up into a brainbuster. And it turned the near botch into something even more amazing.
Yeah. Because that was a complete show of strength from Eichner, and at the same time, like, then we also see like his athleticism come into play again as well. I guess a lot of it was he showed a lot of these moves in like the Cruiserweight Classic or whatnot, but I never saw that, so...
Yeah, he does a double springboard moonsault.
Yes.
Just awesome.
Yeah.
Doesn't get the pinfall off of it, but darn well could have.
It was pretty much one of those like what the hell moments.
And then there's a spot where I believe Lorcan does a suicide dive outside into both Danny Burch and I think it was Bartel.
Mm-hmm.
And so all three of them are now down outside, and in the ring, fucking Eichner runs into the corner and jumps off the top rope out onto all three of them.
It almost looked like a frog splash, but he got so high up that we didn't even see. We couldn't see like from the camera angle of what he was doing. But I'm pretty sure he actually did like almost like a frog splash type thing out there.
Let me tell you, just the tag team fluidity of Eichner and Bartel. Compare how long they've been together since they got put together in NXT UK versus how long Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch were together and how they looked fluidity wise. Mm-hmm. And it's just amazing because Bartel and Eichner are very different, but they mesh very well together.
Whereas like
Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch look almost identical.
Yeah. I was about to say, really the only standout thing for me for that match out of Burch and Lorcan is naturally Burch's headbutt, because he's like, there's so much impact. I'm like, ball people just headbutt hard.
Other than that, the ending comes, I guess, Danny Burch counters the, or it might have been Oni Lorcan. It was one or the other, like I said, they both look just the same. Counters that power bomb / European uppercut off the second rope, and he kind of rolls through it and then puts on a half Boston Crab.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's where we have the suicide dive and then the Eichner dive, and then Lorcan counters Eichner. He goes for a springboard something, but Lorcan counters into a roll up and just gets the pinfall, while Bartel is trying to get in the ring to break up the pinfall, but he can't because Burch has got him by the foot on the outside. So it makes sense for an ending.
Like, I couldn't be mad because it was such a great match, but at the same time, I was like, oh, it was like that fruit striped gum moment, you know.
So I really enjoyed the match. I just wish that it wasn't such 50-50 booking. I kind of pretty much assumed Lorcan and Burch were going to win, because as far as I can remember, they lost their last match, and Eichner and Bartel won their last match.
Yeah.
So I figured it would balance out at the end, and sure enough, it did. So up next, we've got a video package, and this is for Aleister Black versus Tommaso Ciampa. Again, another great one.
Yep.
So I guess they just did the singles titles.
I was about to say, it was very Ciampa heavy.
And then we've got a tag team match, women's tag team match, and you already know who's going to win because the opponents are already in the ring. They didn't get an entrance. They didn't even get names until after, I believe, Io Shirai and Kairi Sane both came out. And his comment was, is this wrestling or is this like a Comic-Con like
cosplay thing? I was like, what's going on here?
We got a pirate and we've got a like a tigress something. But yeah, so you know Io Shirai and Kairi Sane are going to win this match. And
they go against Tania Brooks and the awesomely named Amber Nova.
Yeah, I really like Amber Nova's name, but she kind of sounds like a porn star. But that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfectly fine. But as far as the cadence goes, Amber Nova sounds really good. And I think you said she'd be a great partner for Ember Moon.
Ember Moon?
Amber and Ember. This was actually a pretty good match, except Io and Sane, they look like they were playing the villains. Is it just me, or did they look like the bad guys here?
They kind of gave off a bunch more posturing and whatnot than the heel team was supposed to.
And when it came to double teaming in the ring, like the ref didn't even do a count.
No,
like she didn't do a 5 count because if she had, they could have gotten disqualified like 3 different times in this match. Just doing tag team moves off of a tag, but for way longer than a 5 count. But the finish comes when Io does a spine buster, which was about the weakest one I've ever seen. More like a spine drop.
I was about to say, it was barely even a spine bruiser.
And then We had a pop-up anchor drop elbow by Kairi Sane, and then Io gets a moonsault off of an assist, like a foot spring up
Very,
assist.
very, very breakdancey.
Yeah, and then pinfall, and there you go. Like, we didn't see that coming.
It's like nobody walked into this match saying, "Yay, Brooks and Nova, they're gonna win." No, this wasn't the case in any way, shape, or form, and it's all just setting up for what we end up seeing a little bit later too, with them backstage. So
Yeah, and so we've got that's actually up next. They're backstage, and it's kind of like an interview promo, and it's hard to tell what they're saying.
oh, they're saying like they're since her best friend's back, they're gonna be unstoppable, and there's no team in NXT that can defeat them.
All I remember from their promo was they had this like really cute laughter that was just annoyingly cute. Just like by the time they stopped laughing because Duke and Shafir showed up, I was like, thank you to the two of you for making that laughter go away. But yeah, this just sets up a match for next week. We're gonna have Duke and Shafir versus Io Shirai and Kairi Sane.
Which we've already seen, like Duke and Shafir lose to Dakota Kai and Io Shirai,
yes.
which I liked a lot better because it rhymed.
So I guess this is probably the match that we were meant to see.
Mm-hmm.
So we're both hoping that Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir come out victorious in that match, because otherwise, what the fuck?
Seriously.
I can understand like losing your debut to Io Shirai and Dakota Kai. Great wrestlers, fine. Lost one match, but do not have these two, of all people, get on a losing streak and have two in a row.
Especially this close going on to Road to WrestleMania.
Let them cheat. I don't fucking care what they do, but do not let those two lose this match. But anyway, that's going to be, I guess, the dark match, or one of the three dark matches before NXT TakeOver Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll find out next week what happens. Meanwhile, up next we have our third match of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Final match of the night. Fuck, only 3 matches. I hate that shit. But good match nonetheless. Velveteen Dream versus Bobby Fish. We've got Adam Cole on the outside, so you know there's going to be at least some attempted shenanigans, and there was plenty of.
Yeah. And
just when we thought, hey, ref, maybe you should throw Adam Cole out of here, because he literally pulls the ropes back so that Velveteen Dream can't get to the ropes, can't grab him, and the ref doesn't see that at all.
I was about to say, like, I know how big you are on stories and whatnot, and the story for this one was Velveteen's knee. Like, Bobby Fish worked on it almost the entire match.
I was just enjoying this match. I hadn't taken a note at all, and then suddenly I paused and I'm like, you know what? I should probably write some shit down. The only thing I could write down was fucking Bobby Fish is taking out Velveteen Dream's left knee.
Yeah.
Just to the point to where he can't walk properly. Like, he doesn't stand up all the way for the rest of the match. He's always gimping on that leg. At points, he starts crawling away from Bobby Fish just to get him away from his knee.
Yeah.
At any point where Velveteen Dream could start getting some offense in him, soon as Bobby Fish would go to that knee. Like, there was one point, Velveteen Dream's just hammering away at Bobby Fish in the corner. And the ref backs him off, and he's like, you do not touch the Dream.
You don't touch the Dream? I think that was only a fair part in the entire match.
But he goes back into the corner. Sure enough, Bobby Fish kicks him in the knee, and bam, we're right back at it. And there was that one point where he's got that knee bar on, and that's where Cole pulls back the ropes. And I'm like, dude, this is where the ref sends Cole to the back. And you're like, nah, it's way too far into the match. And sure enough, because the story at the end of the match was Velveteen Dream overcoming the odds.
Mm-hmm.
And he ends up, let's see, he throws Fish outside into Cole. And then
Fish just pops right back up and gets back in the ring.
Yeah. And then he runs right into a Dream Valley driver, and then Velveteen goes up top for the Purple Rainmaker, or what he can make of it, because he sells really well that he can't really jump off the top rope.
Yeah.
He kind of just falls off of his right leg, which is his good leg. But it was enough for the pinfall, and Velveteen won. This was a really good match. I like the story of the 2-on-1 and Velveteen Dream coming out on top.
Mm-hmm.
So, up next, we've got a recap of the Street Profits being attacked by the Forgotten Sons. This was from last week. This is setting up one of the other matches that we're going to get next week.
I'm excited for that one.
Recorded before the pay-per-view. We're going to get the Street Profits versus the Forgotten Sons.
Because we're all about some Street Profits.
I'm really hoping this is another one of those matches where Jackson Riker is just outside and does not get involved.
I don't see him getting involved in any way, shape, or form. Maybe at the end of the match after Forgotten Sons lose, but like up until that point,
he's out there chilling.
Yeah.
Also next week, this is where they announce Kairi Sane and Io Shirai versus Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir.
Yeah.
So that's where it was made official.
So two stellar tag matches right before, like, as dark matches for the paper.
I hope we at least get one other match. I know it's not typical for the NXT after a pay-per-view to get 4 matches, but I hope at least we get 3.
Yeah, we're gonna get 3.
I doubt it, but I hope. So up next, we've got Ricochet coming out for the... I don't know if it was supposed to be an in-ring promo. They kept booking it as a face-to-face.
Yeah,
it's like...
that's pretty much how they're just going to portray it as those two are going to be in the same ring together, and anything could happen, and sure enough, it did.
Normally for a face-to-face, though, you have one competitor come out, then the other come out. In this case, we had Ricochet come out and cut a not-so-scathing promo.
He always seems like he's about to start crying anytime he talks.
Man, he is so amazing in the ring. It's just too bad he's not so great behind a microphone.
It's like if he gets the call up, they need to make him a heel and have Heyman like talk for him and just talk about him like he's Rob Van Dam like back in the early '90s.
Nah, he's down in the Performance Center and he's only just got there. Like, it's less than a year, I believe, and that's what promo class is for, man. He'll get better. They'll just keep working on him. In the meantime, a lot happens here. Now, this is going to be our main event that we are going to rate at the end of this show. So, somewhere along this semi-boring promo by Ricochet, where he's basically telling everybody that Johnny Gargano is the same guy that he always was, and he's shown his true colors, and he's a cheat and a liar and blah, blah, blah. And Ricochet is the champion.
Yes. Holds up the belt.
And then
just making it known.
Here comes Gargano. And you think, okay, here we go. Now it's going to be his promo.
That's what I'm saying. It's like Gargano's here to save it.
But he doesn't get much of a promo in. He kind of just says, I always come with a plan. And his plan was to drop the mic and start beating into Ricochet. However, Ricochet's the babyface. And he gets the upper hand. Knocks Gargano out of the ring. Or maybe Gargano kind of helps with a roll. But still, he goes outside. And while Ricochet's paying attention to Gargano on the outside, Tommaso Ciampa jumps in the ring and takes out Ricochet.
Yeah. Which Gargano actually looks surprised by it, but not really surprised. If it's almost like he kind of expected for something to happen. I'm not sure if it was...
Well, of course he did. It was in the script, man.
But I'm saying, like... If anything, maybe that was part of the plan. Who knows? We don't.
Well, if it was, then Ricochet had a plan with Aleister Black. Because okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. There's story to be told here. So after Ciampa takes out Ricochet, knocks him outside, Gargano kind of sees Ricochet laid out, and he looks up and he sees Ciampa, who I guess is kind of starting to get out of the ring, and they catch eyes, and just there's this tension. Like this part of it wasn't planned. That's what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
Whether they're truthful about that or not, we'll see. But I'm digging the story because they're like, okay, and so what are we going to do?
Ciampa just kind of slides back into the ring a little bit, and Gargano goes right back on the attack.
Right back on Ricochet. At this point, Aleister Black shows up.
Out of nowhere.
Out of fucking nowhere. Randy Orton can take lessons from Aleister Black on how to do things out of nowhere.
He literally materialized out of the ring, I'm pretty sure.
Undertaker style. Just came up out of nowhere and attacked Tommaso Ciampa. And now that Johnny Gargano has gotten the upper hand with Ricochet by throwing him into the steps, he's got a choice to make. He sees Ciampa getting a mud hole stomped into him in the corner by Aleister Black. So Gargano makes a choice, and he gets in the ring and he attacks Aleister Black. lays him out.
Nails him with a great super kick.
Great super kick. And this is where Ciampa kind of looks at Johnny, but not even near as long.
Yeah.
He accepts this really quickly, as if this was the plan all along. Probably was. Just Ciampa's plan, though.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes back on the attack on Aleister Black. And we have a dueling beatdown by the former DIY. And this was great. We had dueling finishers. Gargano doing his slingshot DDT, while Tommaso Ciampa does his like double underhook, sit out face buster, which is just devastating. It looks worse than a pedigree.
Yeah.
And
well, it's pretty much Kenny Omega's Angel's Wings, or One Winged Angel that he does.
So they beat down the faces, and they go to leave. And the whole time up the ramp, they're just staring at each other. Like, neither one of them trusts the other one.
It's like they're about 3 or 4 feet away from each other, but, like, Gargano's never too far behind from Ciampa.
And I thought it was just going to end here on this awkwardness. But no, they get to the top of the ramp, and Tommaso Ciampa kind of makes for, like, a best I could call it is like a peaceful motion. Like, just here. And he extends his hand for a handshake.
Yeah.
But before Johnny Gargano could commit to anything, on whether to shake his hand or not, who comes out but Candice LeRae.
The wifey.
She grabs him up, snatches him, and she starts dragging him to the back, and she's like, nope, nope, nope. Can't go there again. You know better than that. We're not going to do that. We're going to get out of here. And that's how they end the show. I thought that was both storyline-wise very appropriate, but also very comical.
Yeah.
That was great. So, that brings us to the end of the main event. And around these parts, we rate the main event based off the General's 5-star rating. Jerry, where do you put this?
I want to say 3 3/4. Because, granted, like, the ending was great and everything, but getting to that point with Ricochet was kind of, I don't want to say murder, but it was close enough to it. Like, anything that Ricochet says kind of comes off, not really whiny, but, like, it's a little too much babyface to a point where it's almost sickening. So for Gargano to finally come out, and he didn't even really stop. He just started walking to the ring and was talking the entire time. Then he just drops the microphone. Just goes right. It's like Johnny Gargano for 2018. He's right in there all hot-headed.
He very immediately and very quickly stole the spotlight.
Yeah. But it's like 2019 Gargano's completely different. Just all of a sudden, and then, like you said, like for Ciampa to pop up, that added a whole other layer to it. And
I didn't see that coming.
No, and then for Black to show up even.
I didn't see that coming, though I should have.
Like after Ciampa showed up, I knew there was a possibility of Black showing up, but and then the super kick from Gargano, like. Anytime I see that super kick, anytime he super kicks anyone, it's great.
Yeah, this wasn't a match, but every bit of physicality in this event was beautiful.
It's pretty much the tag match I was hoping we were going to get out of the two, but at the same time, I guess it makes sense that we didn't get that because it makes it more makes it that much better for when they actually had their singles match. So, but yeah, 3 3/4 just for the fact that like Ricochet kind of almost killed my buzz for it immediately.
Well, I get what you're saying about that, but I'm going to excuse his, let's call it, acting ability for the content and his ability to remember it. And I thought the content of it was great if he had delivered it with maybe more
aggression,
genuineness.
Yeah.
But other than that, the rest of it was fucking fire, man. Like, this has got me pumped for both of those matches and the outcomes of them, because we will get to that. So we've got predictions coming up very shortly. Yep. We will get to that. But I'm very much looking forward to both of those matches.
So you think that's pretty much what they were hyped up about, was the finish to the program? Because, granted, otherwise it was an NXT show.
I'm going to give this 4 stars. Because it gave me more interest for 2 separate championship matches at NXT TakeOver.
I was about to say, I was already psyched for Gargano versus Ricochet. That's evident. But yeah, Tommaso Ciampa and Black is actually taking on a whole nother level, and it's getting really interesting. I'm still heads and tails. I'm all the way up to the prediction video. I'm pretty much not sure who's going to win that main event.
Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano has been such an amazing storyline that has managed to suck in various wrestlers into it seamlessly and make their careers even better, make their stories even better. And in this case, we've got both Aleister Black, who's been sucked in for a little while now, and now we've got Ricochet.
Yep.
And somehow they've put all of this together in a really great main event. And so, yeah, I'm going 4 stars. But that brings us to the end of this episode of What's NXT. And I'd like to remind everybody that we want you up here to join us for a spot of NXT for our NXT UK reviews. And so if you'd like to get up here, you can contact me on Twitter. Go to nodq.com/Stefan. That's STEFAN. If you'd just like to find me on Twitter, it's at Stefan R. Osborne, OSBORNE. As always, the R stands for restricted. You can always find this gentleman on Twitter as well.
At NoDQGeneral, but also my Facebook group, Armbar, all capital, ARMBAR, exclamation point. And just find Stefan or I, because I made him an administrator on
yeah, admin status unlocked, baby.
Yep. So he's now able to add people as he wishes as well.
You can also find all of our guests for the predictions and preview video for NXT TakeOver Phoenix. We're going to have Cindy, we're going to have Noah, we're going to have James Hebert, we're going to have Owen Finch. They're all in the group as well. So if you like to share wrestling memes, join Armbar.
Or just general discussion.
Other than that, thank you for joining us for What's NXT. We look forward to seeing you for our NXT TakeOver predictions, for our NXT UK NXT party, and for our NXT TakeOver Phoenix review video with Jeff Meacham, again, on the big screen. So we look forward to that. For the General Jerry Slaughter, I am, of course, the Wizard of No DQ, Stefan Osborne. See you NXT time.